So I'm on Vlad TV, and I'm looking at all the interviews that Keffe D did on Vlad TV. I was up to like 36 or 38 of those interviews. And in most of those interviews, he mentioned something about his affiliation with Tupac, with Death Row, or with Puffy's label Bad Boy. He mentions a lot. So basically, that man went to Vlad TV, did that interview, gave a whole lot of information, incriminated himself, and ended up where he ended up at. Welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's get on with the story. Look, Keffe D has been arrested. Now he is in custody. He has been charged, and a grand jury has indicted him. As far as I've read, the grand jury sat behind closed doors, had meetings, went over all the details, combed this one out, all the fine prints with a fine-tooth comb, and decided, yep, they have more than enough to bring him in. And that's why they went and picked him up and locked him up. So a lot of people are like, oh, Vlad TV does it again. Vlad is the feds. Vlad TV works with the feds. Vlad TV is police, because anybody that goes on his show somehow ends up dead sooner or later, or ends up in prison. That might be true. Not the part that he's the feds. Vlad ain't no feds. Vlad TV is not the feds. Okay? If you do your history, you will know who Vlad TV is. Vlad's been around for a minute. And of course, that doesn't make him the fed or not the feds. I'm saying Vlad's been around for a minute. Vlad is well connected inside the culture. I know a lot of people like to think of the culture as black and whites are on the outside and blacks are on the inside, and it's our culture. And if he speak about topics affecting our culture, especially in the entertainment business, rap, music, entertainment, then he must be a culture vulture. I'm not defending him. I'm just telling y'all facts that he's been around. He is highly connected. He's been down with some of the most thorough people that you might know and respect in our culture for a long, long time. Some people don't like him that are really connected, and some do. I was just watching this article talking about how Rick Ross' team jumped Vlad. I don't know what bad blood and what business they had, or if such event even ever took place, but I know he's not feds. This is what's going on with Vlad TV. Vlad ain't no feds. Vlad's platform is being watched by the feds. Now, every platform is being watched by the feds. But of course, if your numbers go up and you have 1 million plus subscribers and a very active platform where people constantly engage the content, it's not hard for the feds to comb through the information, because people out there who are in the streets, who know these people who are showing up on Vlad TV, telling on themselves, those people get in the comment sections and they tell on themselves too. This is a web, okay? So if I do something to somebody and I get on Vlad TV and I tell a story, and people in my hood or neighborhood or who I associate with knows another version of that story, and they get on Vlad TV in the comment section and tell their story in the comments under my interview, all the feds got to do is watch my interview, pick out some information, then go to the comment section. There will be damning information there. And then they trace those people, whether it's through your IP address, or some people just are directly linked. And before you know it, they're over there on other people's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all the apps that we use. And they're all connected. And this is how they're able to connect people to certain things, and connect people to other people, and connect people to places and times and events. That's it. It's a web. So Vlad is not a fed. Matter of fact, Vlad asks the questions. You don't have to answer the questions. Ninjas be all in court talking about I plead the fifth. Why when you get on Vlad TV you don't plead the fifth? You don't have to answer every question. That's the problem, right? So they get up there like Keffe D, do an interview that is so long that Vlad break it down into 30 something pieces, like 36, 7, 8 pieces, 30 plus pieces of interview. Or did he go up there 30 something times? He was in the same clothing, so I'm guessing it's the same damn interview unless he wore the same clothing. My point is, you get on there, you snitch on yourself, and then you blame Vlad, right? I don't see it. Now, a lot of people are confused, and they're saying Vlad did it, and Vlad did it again. I'm telling y'all, y'all better not go on Vlad TV. He the feds. Check it. Keffe D wrote a book, right? And I think Keffe was trying to sell that book. You could write the best book in the world, but if that book has no controversy behind it, or you have not come up with a marketing plan for that book to sell, for it to grab people's attention and interest, then your book might just sit around after it's sold 5 copies, and that's all it'll ever sell in history. I think Keffe D wanted to go out like a gangster in a blaze of glory with a high-selling book, because that's gonna happen. Now that book is gonna sell, because people want to know what else he put in the book. If the book was so raw and so truthful that he put information in that book that actually got him hemmed up, handcuffed, and charged, what else is in that book? Maybe he called some other people's name that we might need to look at. Who paid him, or who put the hit out on Tupac Shakur? Who was the money behind the motivation? Right? Yeah. So that book is going to sell. But check it out. His confession years ago, when he spoke about Keffe D ran into some drug problems. I said this before, I'll say it again. This is in his book. This is not only in his book, he said it again in an interview. I'm going to tell you why Keffe D ended up getting arrested now. It was something that he did not say back then. You know how we going around right now saying, oh man, the feds knew. They knew all along. Yeah, they knew some of it. And he got immunity for some of what he said back then. But the problem is, the things he said now that got him in trouble now was not a part of what he said back then and got immunity for back then. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. When he got in trouble for the drugs, large amount of drugs, and he was looking at like a life sentence, 25 years or something behind bars, right? He struck that deal with them behind closed doors. In that deal is where he got immunity. The detective that spearheaded that investigation already did an interview 2 days ago saying he re-interviewed him shortly after about the Biggie Smalls murder as well. And he found that he was connected in some way or might have known something, right? But they didn't have enough to pin it all on him. So I guess with the drug charge and looking at that much time and your name being called in 2 murders, he went behind those closed doors and he threw his hands up. He said, listen, there's a lot of heavy hitters involved in this one, right? I'll give you the whole story if you let my drug case go. I don't want to do no 25 years, or I don't want to do all those years, right, behind this drug charge. So they gave him immunity for everything that he said behind those doors. He walked out. What he said behind those doors was that he was in the car, was that he knew who did it, or he had an idea who did it, because he was riding shotgun in that Cadillac. Shotgun, you on the passenger side next to the driver. That's shotgun. When you and your friends go into the car and you're like, who's sitting in the back? Who riding shotgun? Me, I'm riding shotgun. You mean you about to sit in the front seat next to the driver, in the passenger seat. So he said to them he was riding shotgun. So they took it as, okay, he has some idea, but there were 2 shooters in the back. So we don't know who shot, right? But he gave them his nephew, Orlando Anderson. Orlando Anderson did interviews after and cleared his name, or he tried to. He said, I didn't have nothing to do with that. In other words, he was still alive to defend himself, and he came out and said, I don't know what the hell Keffe D talking about, because I don't have nothing to do with Tupac death or nothing like that. Right? Right. Okay. They let that rest. His Vlad TV interviews, when he got on Vlad TV and started talking about how he was the one that gave, because people were saying, man, you lying. He making stuff up. You know, these old heads, they keep getting on social media saying all kinds of stuff for clout. And he was like, listen, this ain't no clout. I was there. So I was there. He said it again. The cops already know he was there. He told them a long time ago he was there. Right. Here's where he got in trouble. When he said, I slid him the gun. I slid the gun into the back seat. He gave the murder weapon to the shooter. This is the part that got Keffe D arrested right now. Not Vlad TV. He might have told that on Vlad TV. And the feds watch Vlad TV like they watch all the other channels, all the other platforms. Yes. So he went up there and told now this new piece of information, because he didn't tell him before that he was hands-on in it. Before, he was just in the vehicle with the people who did it. You see? So this is where Keffe D basically effed himself. Talked his way right into jail and possibly into prison on a long sentence. Again, I'll say it. Vlad ain't no feds. And for whoever is listening to this and plan on going on Vlad TV one day, if you make it that far, just remember, if you got dirt, don't go up there telling on yourself. The same way you plead the fifth in court, you could go plead the fifth on Vlad TV. The same way you talk about, I don't have nothing to say, I don't talk to no police, whatever, you do that on Vlad TV. Otherwise, if you go up there and run your mouth on yourself, you can't blame the platform. You can't blame the owner of the platform, the interviewer, the person who works there. It's you. And in Keffe D's case, it was him. I slid the gun into the back seat. I gave that gun to the killer. And now they got him. And now they're calling him the mastermind. Now they're saying he is the one. Here's why. If you do the history, you will know that the rap beef that broke out back in the 90s that turned this East Coast, West Coast violence against each other, it got really bloody, it got really violent. If you know this. You know that Bad Boy Records, which is Puffy's label, and Death Row Records, which is Big Shug, at the time, they were at it. They were at war. The Bloods and the Crips came into play, right? So when war breaks out, you go for warriors. You go for gangsters. And that's what they did. The Bloods were sworn to protect Death Row Records. The Crips were affiliated with Bad Boy Records. They were gonna offer street level protection and soldier work, putting it in for Bad Boy Records. This is how Keffe D came into play and came into association with Bad Boy Records. And through that association, he learned that there was a hit this is his own words. He learned that there was a hit that was put out on Suge Knight, on Biggie Small, not Biggie Smalls, on Suge Knight and on Tupac Shakur at the time. I think he later also learned that there was a hit put out on Biggie Smalls as well. So very well, he might have been acting. He might not even have known who put the hit out. Underground world, if you are a hitter, a shooter, you might not know. Just like how if you sell drugs at a heavy level, you might not know who the plug is. You might not know who the main man is that can supply you with 100 keys. You don't know him. There's a middleman. It goes higher and higher and higher up the level, right? And usually in big cases, they call them kingfish cases. Those are who they're trying to get to. The man behind everything. Because when they get him, they get the real bust. But you know, when you get deeper or higher, you already know all types of stuff about to be unfolded. All types of identities about to be revealed. So, Keffe D said it was through his association with Puffy's label that he heard through the grapevine, or might have heard through the grapevine, that there was a hit out. And then law enforcement said, based on that, they're thinking this is how he acted on the hit. This is why people are saying, damn, I wonder if he's going to call Puffy's name and say that Puffy gave the hit or offered to pay for the hit. But let's keep this in mind. Vlad is not the feds. People get on Vlad TV and tell on themselves and then call him the feds. And Keffe D, the statement that got him where he's at today, is the piece that he never said before, so he never had immunity to it. And the piece is, he slid the gun to the killer, admitting that he is an active part. If I plan to go kill you, and I drive in a car with the people who are going to go do it, and we look for you, and I'm actively driving around helping you to look for the person, and I spot him when you spot him, and then I slide you the gun and I say shoot, or I say here's the gun, go. I know what you about to do. You about to kill him, so I hand you the gun to kill him. He even said Orlando reached up to fire his gun. Tupac looked like he was reaching down for a gun himself, but he didn't get it fast enough. His car, the Cadillac Keffe D was riding in, they fired off first. That's his own statement. Anyways, I'm leaving this one right here, man. You leave your comments in the comment section below. I see a lot of people in the comments acting like, oh, I know everything and I know the whole story. There's a lot of stuff that's unfolding right now that none of us knew, right? There's been a lot of speculation for 27 years. None of us knew a lot of the stuff that's being said. A lot of speculation, a lot of pointing of fingers, a lot of this one could have done it, that one might have done it. I'm going off of what is being revealed as factual today, what they have proof of today, and what we've heard or read out of Keffe D's own statement today, and law enforcement and their record that they can show today. I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out. Peace.